Alright, so in today's video, we are talking about dividing. It's pretty much the same thing as multiplying, except for when we divide, we need to flip the fraction first and then multiply. So I am going to first start off by flipping my fraction. So I have 7x over 2x minus 10. And then instead of being divides, the symbol in the middle changes to multiply. And now I have x squared minus 11x plus 30 on top, and x squared minus 6x on the bottom. Alright, then what I need to do is, just like yesterday, I need to factor. So 7x is going to stay 7x, there's nothing to factor there. On the bottom, 2x and 10 are both even. Let me focus this. Ooh, there we go. So, since they're both even, I want to factor out 2. Gives me x minus 5, because 2x divided by 2 is x. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Over here, I have x squared minus 11x plus 30. So I'm looking for what multiplies to positive 30 and adds to negative 11. That's going to be negative 5 and negative 6. Then on the bottom, x squared and 6x both have an x, so I pull out the x out front. X squared divided by x is x. 6x divided by x is negative 6x divided by x is negative 6. Okay. Then I want to focus on what I can cancel out. So I can cancel out x minus 5, and I can cancel out x minus 6. Notice I have an x here and here. So those cancel out. All I'm left with is 7 over 2. I don't need to say what x can't be because 7 halves is just my answer. There's no x's in this answer. Moving on, number 2, same thing. So this one is normally over a secret 1. What I want to do is I'm going to rewrite that so it's flipped. So I have 6x squared plus x minus 15 over 4x times 1 is on top, 3x squared plus 5x. Okay. I need to factor my first fraction on the numerator. I am going to use the AC method. I'll use red. A, B, C. So A is 6, B is 1, C is negative 15. So first I want to find what AC is. So I do 6 times negative 15, which gives me negative something. Negative 90. So I'm looking for what multiplies to negative 90 and adds to 1. That's going to be negative 9, positive 10. So I'm going to keep working in red. So I'm going to have 6x squared minus 9x plus 10x minus 15. So notice this went here to replace the 1x. Then I split these into 2 separate groups. I have that group and that group. And then I want to divide out what each group has in common. This one has a 3x. So I write 3x out front. Then 6x squared divided by 3x is 2x. Negative 9x divided by 3x is negative 3. Over here I can divide out 5 from both 10 and 15. So I write a 5 out front. And then 10x divided by 5 is 2x. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. Notice, I'll use the bad green pen, I guess. I have 2x minus 3 on both sets of parentheses. This means it can be rewritten with my 2 outside pieces put together. So I'm going to have 3x plus 5 in one set of parentheses, and then 2x minus 3 in another set. So that is what this factors to. So I'm going to rewrite this. I have 3x plus 5, 2x minus 3, over 4x. The 1 stays where it is on the second fraction. On this fraction, I can pull out an x. And then I have 3x, because I took out an x from x squared. And then 5x divided by x is 5. Okay, so I look for things I can cancel out. In this case, it's just the 3x plus 5. So I want to go ahead and rewrite it. I end up with 2x minus 3 on the top. On the bottom, I'm going to multiply the x's, so it's going to turn into 4x squared. Then, because I canceled something out with an x and I still have an x left over, I want to set it not equal to 0. So I subtract 5. I have 3x equals negative 5. Divide by 3. Oops, this was not equals. And I get x can't equal negative 5/3. Nope. I mean, I will move on, but I want to give you a few seconds to pause the video and then work on your own. I'll come back in a few seconds to start working on this so you can check your answers. Alright, so the first thing I want to do for number 3 is I want to go ahead and flip my second fraction. So it's going to become x squared minus 8x plus 15 on the top. And on the bottom it's going to be x squared minus 5x. I want to go ahead and factor my fractions. 11x can't factor on the bottom over here. 3x and 9 can both be divided by 3. So I have 3 on the outside. 3x divided by 3 is x. 9 divided by 3 is negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Over here, I'm looking for what multiplies to positive 15 and adds to negative 8. It's going to be negative 3 and negative 5. On the bottom, I can factor out an x. So I have x and then x minus 5, because x squared divided by x is x. Negative 5x divided by x is negative 5. So I want to look for things that cancel out. I have the x minus 3, the x minus 5, and the x's. So I end up with 11/3, which just gives me a number answer, so I don't have to focus on writing the domain restriction for x. Moving on to number 4, there is one on the back. I want to start off by writing this over 1, and then I'm going to flip it. Since I have the whole back page, I am just going to write this whole thing out. So it turns into multiplication, and 1 goes on top, and then I have 2x squared plus 2x. I want to first focus on factoring this. So I have a is 6, b is 4, c is negative 2. AC is going to be 6 times negative 2, so I get negative 12. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add up to my b value of 4, which would be 6 and negative 2. So I'm going to rewrite it as 6x squared plus 6x minus 2x minus 2. I want to break it up into my two groups. And then I look for what each group has in common. My first group has a 6x in common. So I write the 6x up front and I divide both of those by 6x. 6x squared divided by 6x is x. 6x divided by 6x is 1. Remember, anything divided by itself is always 1. On the second group, I want to take out negative 2. And then negative 2x divided by negative 2 is x. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. I have the same thing inside the parentheses, so that means I've done this correctly. I rewrite my outside pieces together. So I'm going to have 6x minus 2 in a set of parentheses, and then x plus 1 in the other set. And this is going to be what I replace that with. So on the top of the first fraction, I get 6x minus 2 times x plus 1 over 5x squared. On the second fraction, I have 1 over, I can factor out 2x from both the terms. So I have 2x up front. 2x squared divided by 2x is 2. 2x divided by, what? Should have been x. Just kidding, you guys. 2x divided by 2x is 1. So I look for things to cancel out. Just the x plus 1. So I want to go ahead, multiply a plot across, I don't know how to talk. I have 6x minus 2 on the top, and that was a lot louder than I meant to say it. I have 5x squared times 2x. 5 times 2 is 10. And I add my exponents, 2 plus 1 is 3. So I have x cubed on the bottom. Notice, for this one, 6, 2, and 10 are all even. So I can divide the top and bottom by 2. 6, 2, 10 are all even. Simplify. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then x cubed just goes at the end. Now I need to figure out my domain restriction for the one piece I canceled out. So I have x plus 1 can't equal 0. Subtract 1. X can't equal negative 1.